know what? It's time for us to head over to the grassy patches of Erangel and game number 4. Let's do it.
We got ourselves the new flavor in Tego, so let's go back to the classic style of PUBG as we're shifting over to Erangel. As I know Global Army is kind of new to the scene, but I think he's starting to build up a global fandom.
I think more or less you are his fan, especially with the way that he was able to survive there as long as he did. That was, again, Sarvum's resiliency there was just incredibly impressive.
You know me, I'm a sucker for underdogs, dude. I just can't help it. I love people that manage to just like, it feels like it's the epitome of PUBG. Like whenever the whole deck is stacked against you, you're not expected to be like the top dog, but you're still finding ways to get your points. That like resonates with me because I'm kind of bad at the game sometimes.
We can all be bad at sometimes, but looking at this play, there's actually a pretty northern plane, and my eyes are actually still glued to Twisted Minds and potentially any drops there, but no, they're actually going to get apartments for free, and 17 obviously going to get Pachinki. I can't imagine a team that would want to contest them there.
If anything is going to be more formulaic in drops, it's going to be this one. Everybody kind of knows where everybody's wanting to go. So as we can see, 17 is going to be making the push in for the very center of the map inside of Pachinki. Is not going to be glancing around at different stuff. The split coming out from Twisted Minds, which we talked about just a moment ago. Petrichor Road still doing a bit more of a push. Forest actually going very far up and getting that area around Zarki could be something to keep an eye on. So we're still waiting for that first circle to reveal itself and see where we're going to be headed for this game.
I absolutely love Zarki. I mean, you know, that's...
No, we're not going to Zarki.
Okay, well, I know we're not going to Zarki, but even a circle like this, I mean, being someone who's actually looted Zarki multiple times internationals, I actually really love that position. But for this circle, the rotation will come in late on the northeast, sure. But yeah, that's a very, very LG-esque, old school Rumblers Mil to Power circle that I love to see.
Yeah, this is going to be the LG backyard. So I know a couple of people have been waiting for a bit more of an LG pop-off. So there is the potential for that one right now. Cerberus also going to be pretty comfy inside of this position. And SRM not going to have to do too big of a rotation either, as well as FaZe, who's just going to be playing Milta proper just to the west of Relic.
And I can tell you from experience as well that, I mean, we love to see this circle back when I was playing. The difficult thing is like kind of where you play again when you have so much room to kind of choose from. Generally, we'll see teams, we actually just really like to take mini power there and then like one of the compounds to the west, whether it's like a flat top or something, but LG very well versed in this area. They'll know exactly what to do.
Looks like Falcons was wanting this. You can see very low economy right now is they're going to have to deal with that. Shift away, there's nothing to the west. Like, there are no other teams, so just take your shots, avoiding them coming out. I did want to follow up on what you were talking about having the circle fall on your major loot location, especially in an area such as Milta, which is more wide open. Respect. I guess now we know who's in charge of the squad, right? You got to hit him with the car a bit, like give him a love tap. No, you listen to me. I want to do this. But anyway, back over to the Milta section. What do you look, whenever you're looking at the circle like this, where do you, like, are you based off of where you think people are dropping? So that's how you set up your defense? Do you just go for the power positions and location? Like the buildings you like to play best? What are the barriers?
So, I mean, for instance, us, right, Rumblers, we always, again, used to like to take mini power at the very least and one of the main compounds to the west. Not so much Monkey where we see Relo kind of rotating from, but either the flat top or the two stories there. Those are good positions. You can set up kind of by we used to call them the FaZe yellows to the north, right? Because that actually does help cut off a lot of rotations or do quite a bit of damage to the teams coming in. But yeah, generally mini power is just a very good position to hold from, which is where we see LG kind of setting up right now.
And let's not forget, one of the big things about this circle that can be problematic is that with the whole lumberyard hillside, you kind of end up with these couple of bottleneck positions
yes,
that you have to work with. That's slightly resolved now. Whenever we look at the emergency pickup, it's still not going to be safe, but it does provide you different pathing options that were a bit more limited inside of the circle.
And we've already seen teams like GP as well as Falcons use those and get it. I mean, Ty Lu obviously winning the first game off of that drop. So yeah, emergency pickups have been an amazing tool for these teams to use, especially because, as you said, rotations before through those bottlenecks were absolutely hell.
Up on the top of that hillside, not wanting to deal with it, is going to be SRM, who we're talking about before. And Cerberus, you can see playing Lippo. No inherent rush. They have Haisaki that's going to be playing in the buildings that are just going to be to the west of that, opposite side of the road, as well as Duckby hanging out and just making sure to defend up so that way they have a territory of control. I'm going to be kind of curious to see how a lot of the rotations do come into this. We do have Navi that's opting into a much earlier rotation. Right on the edge of everything, we also have 4 Angry Men who are doing their Yaz 9. Kind of drop at nothing too crazy. Don't even have anybody that's going to contest around them.
Yeah, 4 a.m. usually loots here. I mean, no one's really going to want to contest 4 a.m. anyways. But yeah, they're just going to come in just off to the north, right? They have plenty of things, whether it's going to be J Compound or Mansion. They'll be able to kind of rotate in. And you already see HSMM actually going towards that hill just to the west of Lip.
Looks like he was even keeping an eye on where Cerberus and whenever they got the timing to make their move and following him back behind them. Well played as TE making their pathing down as it's going to be Petrichor Road. Remember, we did see them rotate late into this as not necessarily probably in the best looted position right now, but at least trying to get that back together. TE looks like they're going to try to opt away from that. Are they going for a melee base cycle?
I was just about to say, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a team go from the west bridge over to the east bridge. They're rotating on Millie Island because no one's going to be there, especially with how north the plane was, right?
Good call. And with this, a couple of shots now being exchanged between
your favorite team, Sarv and Na'Vi.
Lined in. I mean, I think that there's a slight advantage into one side of this one as Na'Vi is starting to make their push up the hillside. It is contained, though. I do want to point out 17 Gaming is also pathing down next to Farm and does have their eyes set up along the sight line, but it doesn't look like they haven't even passed the road yet to get near Lumberyard hillside.
No, and Lumberyard, as you know, especially in this circle, can be really difficult to fight down because it is a massive slope leading into Milta Power. So a lot of the teams that are at least setting up around it will have good sight lines on the rotations coming in. But yeah,
it's actually one of my favorite places to watch whenever we get to the top of Lumberyard, is just because it's so dynamic.
You say that, but it sucks to play from.
It sucks to play.
Let me tell you.
But the rocks, the way that the hillside all comes together, there's so many dynamic features. Sure. Even like the recess section that comes in. I love to see how different teams opt to play around this hillside.
Well, especially like kind of the newer, I should say, newish version of Lumberyard, right? Because there are some now embankments as well as like you have some cannons as well spread out along there. So there's much more cover now than there used to be.
See, I'm, I guess, evil or whatever you want to say, but I like to see players whenever they have those difficult choices and specifically how they want to play a location. Everybody knows that, you know, if we end up going
you're a terrible person. That's what you're looking for.
I like to see the smart players play smart and want to try to figure out why they're doing their smart thing. And it's very peculiar, specifically in this area. Now we're starting to see most of our claps in.
Twisted actually is kind of getting dangerously close here to Forest as they also try to rotate in on the Yas Bridge here.
Yeah, Yas Bridge versus gas station bridge, pretty much what we're looking at, right? Is it looks like it was just a vehicle theft. They just come up, grab it, and they're out.
No big deal.
Yeah.
And Twisted Minds.
I love the horns, man. I don't know why. It always just makes me happy.
Yeah, I mean, Twisted has been trying to find their footing here, though. It's not been the greatest 3 games as they're currently sitting in 15th place with only 6 points, and that's. You know, it is just the start of an event, and it is group stages, which can be a little chaotic, but yeah, not the start I would have envisioned for Twisted, and I'm sure, but Batu would tell you the same thing.
Batu's on my fantasy team, so yeah.
It's an amazing pick, amazing player. I will say I'm not really worried about Twisted, though, because they are just so consistent, and they do tend to fix any issues that they have pretty early.
That's a big part of PUBG whenever you look at it on the competitive stage. Sometimes a day can be bad, but how much do you learn from it, right? It's really easy to get mad and do all these other things, but whenever you go back and you do the research, bring it in and go, okay, we could have done this slightly different here. These small minutia changes to turn what was a catastrophe into success. Twisted Minds, they've got the minds to do that.
They are absolutely one of the most consistent teams in the world. So again, not really worried about them. I mean, if they finish out the day still kind of struggling, then yes, because they don't want to be in that position where they're not going to make the top, but again, I think they'll be fine.
We'll be to a loser's bracket that has Twisted Minds in it is the way I'm going to be looking at it. You never know, though. We'll have to keep an eye out. As now we do have Forest that's making their pathing in. Expendable is going to be coming in as well. They did opt into going that milli circle.
But look at Petrichor, Matt.
Yeah. I like this read from Petrichor. I mean, there's no big rush to fight your way into Lumberyard Hillside, right?
Exactly. And I think they did see TE actually rotate onto the island, so now they know that they're going to be able to hold them out.
Oh, and
speaking of bad starts, though, yeah.
As Twisted Minds coming in this one a bit late. And it's going to be Forest. This is a squad that they've kind of bumped heads against a couple of times today.
But they're only sitting with 8 points, but they've really been impressing me so far with their rotations, their decisions on where they want to rotate, taking the fight early with 17 in that first game, and the fact that they've just been really scrappy and causing issues for some of these teams that, you know, punching above their weight.
I love what's happening here. I love the fact that we're about to see the potential of a bridge camp, but I also got to point out 4 a.m. and DK are both in Lippo taking shots at each other right now, so we might see a Lippo fight. Yeah, here it is circling around, is going to be running right through this. What Crazy says, nah, okay, maybe we need to get away from this one. Is This is a very intriguing fight that you don't see very often.
They are going to be able to skirt by, use that ridge, and then go all the way towards kind of that central road that leads down into Milta Power. As this first circle is going to post, is it going to leave a lot of water in? Oh. Wow, okay.
You're not allowed to talk during circles anymore. It's no longer allowed. You've got the same rules applied that I do. All right, so I guess good if you're in the south. You can see people already cresting in. It looks like this is going to be
What the hell is that shit?
Mad Max Sin to Milta? Is that what we're doing?
Oh, man. I mean, Expendables have found themselves with more time right now, though. Being on the south side, I guarantee you they weren't expecting the circle to shift that far south, so they could actually kind of just take their time. Petrichor's no longer going to be camping that bridge. They now have an opportunity to get a much more central position here.
Oh, this is about to get really weird. We have 17 that's already shifted in. Navi's going to be playing just to the north of the Petrichor Road, making a shift along that beachhead just down below them. But remember, TE can actually have some pot shots that they can take in from this range. It's a long way away, but can at least scare them just a bit. GP actually using the emergency airdrop. They're going to be jumping in on the opposing side of it. Petrichor Road doesn't like it with what's going to be going on to the east, so they're shifting back into the west. That opened the sight line back up for 17 Gaming, who's going to be taking some pot shots in them. And while all of the shifting with Petrichor Road is going on, Falcons have shifted back into their previous position.
Yep, and Falcons have absolutely backfilled Petrichor, and as you said, GP have been using those drops so far this almost every game, and they have found themselves in a very good position off of that. So impressed with that. Tai Lu coming in off the northwest as well, and look at all the fans there in attendance. You absolutely love to see it. I love land settings more than anything.
All the flags coming into play. The cheering is starting to come out slowly and steadily. We're getting everything filled up as DK now having to make some type of fill position of their own. They're going to be passing by the 2-2 split coming up from LG, who leaned into Factory, and then the compounds that are just going to be to the west of that, I guess opposite sides of the hill that we often see being fought around. TE is inside of a boat, I believe, and they're going to be cutting across in, and they're going to get the southern part of the peninsula potentially around the same time that DK could be rotating in, depending on how deep DK wants to go into this.
That's a good spot, though, for TE. Even though they won't have any other vehicles, they will be able to play that ridge into the next circle at the least. And now 17 and Forrest. Forrest is actually dropping in.
Forrest, they've decided that they're going to jump straight into Milta. They're getting shot at by 17 by Navi, GP, LG, FaZe. They were trying to go into the east, and they were quickly like, nope, nope, go back over here. This is our safe spot. They do,
but they make it.
Sneak it through. It's going to be Hush that goes down inside of all of that as Navi looks back at GP's position, goes for a quick exchange between them.
And Oxlef now going to find a member there of Forest, but losing one to get into the central position here in Milta, that is worth it 100%.
No complaints off that. 17 Gaming wanting to get a bit more of a stretch out. You can see them on the mini map there. They did also have a little Ghost that went to go play in the peninsula that's just to the southeast of Milta itself. And it looks like he did bump into TE and had some shots, so he's just going to be playing that hillside. Milta is definitely the topic of conversation, though, as now we have Navi playing the outskirts of it. We have Forest that's in the thick of it, Petrichor Road, 17 Gaming, and Falcons. Falcons with a long split all the way down from the crossroads in Milta down to the bridge.
I actually really like fighting in Milta. It's different in other cities because instead of being a lot of like 2 stories, 3 stories, some apartments, it's kind of like little shacks and little 1 stories here with some of those 2 stories and that 1 3-story kind of speckled throughout. So I really enjoy fighting here, especially if it does end here. You have a lot of options and it's fun. I enjoy. I like watching it as well. Milta fights are just fun all around.
Okay, see, we can let you talk during the circle this time. All right, everything's safe. We only got a little bit of
had
water.
to shift that way.
Yeah, it did, let's be honest. But we still have a bit of the bay, and everybody kind of knew this is how it's going to be going. You see the Twisted Minds coming in late, using the blue of their name tags to camouflage themselves into the blue zone as they are now sneaking in. And
they should,
if they want to play edge, it's pretty open for them.
Well, they should actually be able to, if they see that flat top is open, that's going to be a really strong position just to the north of Milta. But look at this.
This is...
Sarvum have taken this central shack. I think it was LG a long time ago that actually won a game somehow from that shack. So it is possible. They have 4 vehicles in front of it to just hold off anyone potentially trying to crash them. But yeah, this is the flat top I was talking about, Matt.
I feel like that SRM shack is just the shack of ruined dreams. It feels like every single time somebody has to go there, it never ends well. LG trying to regroup as they've got GP on the opposing side of them. LG having to regroup because they had their ton 5 that was coming in back behind.
Good position, though.
Ago, but this is actually pretty comfortable for most of the teams. No heavy commitment's going to have to come out just quite yet.
Yeah, everyone is in this circle, even 4 a.m. You see Crazy up to the north, not quite in, but they're going to be able to consolidate just fine. And so everyone now is settling in, Matt, as you said, waiting for this next shift.
I'm just terrified that it goes, because our theme today has been recessed hillsides coming out of cities, and I just have this feeling that somehow the compound, you know, that shack that SRM went to is somehow going to be the center. So we're going to get the field north of Milta and the hillside, and everybody in Milta shaking their fist at the sky.
But that's why they sent it there. Sarvam is aware that the circle does tend to favor that shack or that area, those fields just to the east of Milta quite often. So sending it there early, the fact that they got there with 4 alive is not the worst. The fact that they're all 4 just kind of stuck in there isn't the best either.
This is an awkward situation starting to brew as DK has shifted in more and more from their coastline position. They have David that's kind of playing in the compound north of it, and it's going to be TE that kind of gets good read in as Expendables just open up a beautiful trap into that one. Tanvu should be fine as the rest of DK nowhere near here.
Yep, and he's going to get a very nice, easy res on the Tanvu there. He's not done yet. He's still making sure that no one else is trying to push. They know that they have a knock, so this would be the window for D plus Kia to actually make the push. And look at this. He knows it's just a first knock. I love this awareness from 777.
Makes the jump out, has to step away, going for the reload. He had a surrender position. He's going to go down. Duck Juice nowhere near position to really support in, so he's having to send it down. Dylan's going to be back behind this, so D plus Kia doing a great job on exploiting the opportunity and making the best of a bad situation.
I was going to say, I don't like the fact that T took so long to get support, but I forgot they rotated in on a boat. They didn't have vehicles to immediately send people to help that duo out. So Duckjuice made that run probably right when that fight started, but they didn't get there in time.
They're not done. They're using that tree line to block out any vision on their approach, and they're trying to be sneaky with this one.
It's a 2v2.
I mean, yeah, you know that the opportunity is going to be there. Circle is going to go up to the north. Not quite as much as I was afraid of with the hillside, but now how much of a commitment you're going to make? We're going to see some chaos. The circle is going to happen specifically in the north. 4AM going to be holding back Twisted Minds, as well as Falcons trying to make their rotation. Oddly enough, SRM in their shack going to be able to defend out, take some shots. Twisted Minds going to try to wrap around 4 Angry
This is rough.
This is going to be complex, and yeah, I'm not surprised that they're pulling away from that.
There is not a lot to play at all below 4AM, or even where you see Lou. He's going to be in that little pocket there, but yeah, there's nothing to really play here on this hillside. Is now look, Petrichor making the push onto 17, but they will lose one.
Yeah, a couple of members for Petrichor moved forward. That didn't go so well. While the Twisted Mind rotation was going in, Falcons exploited that and cut across, and they actually did manage to get pretty centered inside the circle. Lil Ghost with a great headshot onto Summer, and Petrichor Road. This is starting to turn more and more problematic by the moment.
Yeah, Petrichor just down to Summer.
Let's see if we get the reses out from them. 4 Angry Men, though, it looks like they're actually going to relent their defended position up into the north.
Summer and CUI, actually.
Going to shift back down as they are going to find themselves an open opportunity just to the north of T5. Because remember, T5 compressed in LG a moment ago.
Yes.
So this is just going to be kind of one of those take one down, passed around compound situations that I think that 4AM was watching.
Well, 4AM will also be able to play well from this as long as they can get Xiaolu and Xiaopan, and it looks like they're going to be able to do that just fine. And so, again, 4AM in the last couple of games have done a great job, maybe coming in a little later than they normally would, but they're finding these beautiful compounds, these beautiful positions to play from, even coming in late. So very impressive from them.
Remember, GP, who made that jump in a while ago, feeling pretty good about it. They're pretty centered right now. They got some decent sight lines. LG, this is kind of their backyard, not having to do too much just quite yet. Twisted Mind still going to have to make an awkward rotation in a moment, but Petrichor Road now going to be walking right into the potential of a trap if they're not careful. See, this is why we always talk about how dangerous it is in the urban environment, right? You've got to look at every single corner, but then there's always the dude on the roof.
Well, especially with the one stories though of Milta, we were talking about it earlier. It's just a lot of like kind of one stories, couple shacks there. As we see Twisted Minds finding some sort of play here. They actually came into this rotation pretty well, all things considered, as they do have Cerberus now right above them though.
Yeah, our moving factors that we're looking at, Summer did go down again. Petrichor Road had one member, needs to move in. Tai Lu is still playing the northern part of Milta, still 4 up, a lot more quiet than normal, as Cerberus is taking these pot shots into Twisted Minds, who uses 4AMs, repositioning as an opportunity to move into the circle itself. But it's just going to be him as Tycon taking some shots down. No real big opportunity has been presented as Forrest finally does end their fight with Petrichor Road.
Tycon is so good. He's done so much damage in these games, and he's continuing to just harass Twisted Minds as no one has to move yet. Circle is about to post, and it's just going to center up right on Game PT.
SRM's compound earlier still inside, but it's going to be right on the edge. Nobody's going to want it. I wouldn't be surprised, though, unless it's just an absolute emergency. This hillside's about to come alive with the sound of gunfire. Everybody's got to start shifting in. Haisaki decides to go for a step down. He's going to go ahead and deal with all of the firing line as everybody from 4AM, T5, LG is just looking up that hillside and daring somebody to shift down.
Fortunately, that vehicle at least has back tires, right, for Tyloo to use if they need to kind of send it somewhere. But that field in Milta it's really not that conducive for any teams to play, especially if you're a 4-man. So Sarvam actually has an opportunity here to get quite a few points to these teams rotating in ahead of them.
CS finding themselves
unless they get crashed.
Yeah. CES just shifting down into this compound. They're going to get themselves a wizard tower. And with this check this out.
Position.
4 angry men move back into where Cerberus was. Remember, they were playing in this area beforehand, taking shots at Twisted Mind, shifted down the hillside, realized with Cerberus moving that it's opened, and shifted back into the north.
Really love that rotation. And again, 4AM's decision making right now, so far in this group stage, has been nothing short of great.
See, look, good guy. Suju's helping his teammate move and turn into it. Now 17, you got to shift by. Forrest on one side of Navi on the other. Shots going to be coming out, catching a bit of areas. They're just trying to send it. It's going to be rolling down. Just going to go ahead and take him out. Be like, no, buddy, I'm not going to let him have you. I'm going to take you out instead. Using the opportunity, they're just cutting it. It's going to be Falcon's position. Nades out. It's going to roll down the hillside. Not getting enough. 17 just jumps out. Little Ghost is going to go down. Just one up, and the commitment stays in. They say, hey, we're all going to die together if we're going to die, and that's what they're going to do.
That was one of the ballsiest. That was a game-winning play, though. They wanted straight up the best central position they could get without having to crash that compound GP is in. So I respect it, but man, that was, I mean, that, as I said, that was very ballsy. And the fact that Falcons held that doesn't surprise me with all the other teams taking shots at 17.
I mean, there was so few options. Forrest one side, Navi, we talked about.
They could have played the back of the shack where we see Forrest now. But yeah, they, as I said, they wanted the game-winning play there.
Back behind this, we still have one member in Tyloo still alive. Not feeling like they're going to pick up another victory in this one as the Blue Zone putting in some work. SRM taking some shots. Falcon glancing that way every once in a while, as well as Forrest into the south. Forrest and SRM being kind of our defensive line of the field, depending on how this next circle is going to lay.
And I will say, though, GP for being center I don't feel like they've done that much damage, actually. LG, if anything, is taking all the shots there up to the north, and the teams like 4AM, Twisted, as well as Cerberus, but everyone else has been fairly quiet. Theraton 5 have pretty much just sat.
We have a brewing situation into the north with 4 angry men and Twisted Minds. Twisted Minds creeping back up that hillside, so a fight that kind of started about 2 circles ago, and Twisted Minds had to go to the south, and 4AM went back to the east. Now starting to regroup yet again as Perfectus is trying to make his way up this hillside. Circle is going to pop and favor this northern position, so if anything, that just means, okay, this is worth fighting because this trench is going to be high value. Throwables coming out, and you can see 4 men already prepped up, already reading it, throwing out the counter utility. It's just a flashbang. It's a mini rave up here that nobody can step into.
Yeah, and Twisted Minds, as you said, know exactly what they need to do. They want to take this hilltop. They want to get rid of this team. The Nade doing a lot of damage here. Perfectus going to find Crazy, and there's no trade. They're just hunkered down in this trench, Matt.
Just a deadly Jack-in-the-Box. His nades are just going to go right down into that lane. Crazy creeping forward. Jan wanting to go ahead and get his meds back up, but it looks like Twisted Minds just going to commit in. They don't want to walk straight in a line, though, and realize the downside of what that could be. Multiple members down for 4 angry men just trying to pick up what they can right now. And speaking of pickup, I think that we see one of the 4 angry men pick up the other one and is now just hightailing it out of there.
Yeah, they weren't able to get the job done, but they know they've pretty much crippled 4AM here as Yapian is just trying to hold this off. I don't think he's going to be able to get that res. Or maybe he will. He might have bought himself enough time. Meanwhile, look at the other side of this. It's going to be Sarvam actually making that push onto Twisted.
I love this. Read what's going to be coming in. The problem with it is the sight lines aren't too favorable. What's going to be trying to happen? The Tulans trying to defend up this line. Navi wanting to use an opportunity of their own. They were trying to crest into this one, but shots are going to be coming out from LG to slow them down with this T5, using the distracted LG to shift in. But while this is happening, FaZe is going to be wrapping into the south. They've got their eyes set on a more close to GP's pathing position, but we can see Forrest also not capable of moving. So yes, FaZe just going to send it in. serve him down and out as Twisted Minds, they've gotten distracted. 4 Angry Men had time for the res.
And beautiful timing there from FaZe. They actually should be able to get Jeems up here as Gustav on the west side of that shack trying to find an angle to get these nades in. And Game PT is now backed up. They've lost Daku as well.
I love this read coming out from FaZe. They realized where all the fighting was going to be happening, and they came in from the south. Sight lines along the hillside, just not even a factor. They just have to be very careful on how they path into this one. One member already down and out from GP, so have to be careful. But Na'Vi, I think, also saw this and could be choosing this. Nope, they're going to just go ahead and cut straight into the north. So FaZe taking this a bit slower and steady, and I think that's going to be rewarding.
And Gustav did push forward. He wanted to make sure he was holding off the team of GP just to buy FaZe some time to get the res, but he just got himself knocked there. That nade is not going to allow them to maybe res Gustav. I think he's going to be going down, but at the very least, they did get Jeems up.
While this is all going on, Twisted Mind still trying to make the push into 4 Angry Men's last member and alive. That's going to finally go down as that firefight was going on for quite a while, which means Twisted Mind does get control of the north, but it came at a pretty hefty cost as even Cerberus is taking some shots into them and managed to get a knock.
I think Batulin might be able to get his teammate up there, but as you said, Cerberus just laser focused on getting rid of those last 2 members there from Twisted Minds. Meanwhile, LG now have to contest with Theraton 5, who managed to get just ahead of them on the north on that hill.
FaZe right now breathing a sigh of relief. They were wanting to take this fight a lot slower, take the tempo, get back into control over it. So Circle did pop onto their compound. Really, whenever we look at our outliers, Twisted Mind's got to move, T5, LG, that's kind of about it. The only kind of problem that we're looking at is LG is taking some shots into FaZe and GP, as LG's pathing options are getting very limited very quickly.
Yeah, they do have some dips to play ahead of them, but I don't think they're quite in. They can use those as a foothold to maybe take the fight to Theraton 5, but they need to find these knocks as soon as possible, because even Theraton 5 finds themselves in a position that isn't that advantageous, and Hush gonna find a nice shot onto Lu there as Batu goes down to pretty much just 1 shot of health.
This is feeling like this is about as much as they're going to be able to get in the stage. Falcon's going to be right down below them. Hamas already moved forward to make sure to block out any type of pathing down that hillside. As this is a very tattered Twisted Minds, as they have been fighting for quite a while just to try to get into this position.
Forever, it seems like.
I feel like the last at least 5 to 6 minutes has just been continual for them.
Every circle shift, they've had to contest with a new team, whether it was Sarvam or 4 AM, and now here comes the push here. Hamas going to find the nade onto Falcons.
I love that double up. Throw down the smoke, throw down the blue zone nade, slow down any approach over here, use the dip, and you can see it's just a step forward. Snakers is going to go down. Not a massive return just quite yet. 1 member down on T5 side of it. It's a contained fight. This hillside kind of blocking out from anything. If this is the pathing that you're going to take as LG, this is the one you want. It's just your aim versus theirs, and that's what they're trying to make sure that they can exploit. Theraton 5 taking a lot of damage, but managing to weather the storm of what LG is trying to present. The longer and longer this goes on, though, means the fact that Snakers can get rezzed and can get his meds back.
It's not just LG, though. Server is doing a lot of damage here to Theraton 5 as that nade is going to find Snakers. Kickstart stepping over. He really needs to get this knock when he gets headshot, and they are just hunkered down in this dip. This is not ideal, and he goes down.
Using the opportunity, they just walk back into this one. Great job coming out from Theraton. They just step into it. Now they've got control over this hillside for now, but with the loud pop-off that happened over there, they have Cerberus that's eyeing them as well as Na'Vi.
Cerberus has done such a good job taking this position even in the first place, getting to that Wizard Tower and just dictating pretty much the entire circle. Batu is somehow still alive. 9 kills on the side of Twisted.
I mean, they were needing the points. Let's be honest on that. So just creeping in, getting some more placement points is just all Twisted Minds got their goal set on. Look at that bias. T5 feeling pretty good after their LG one. Now starting to step into Cerberus. And hey, look at this as we're creeping forward. More and more position points starting to pop off for Batu. Up to the north of this one, it's just going to be T5 slowing down in position. Circle pops. FaZe, who's been kind of keeping an eye on what's going to be going on south, now starting to have to make a move of their own. But T5 still being aggressive into Cerberus's face.
And Cerberus do have a member now in Hamas. At least Duckmai is trying to get him up. Tycon trying to do what he can to provide cover for this res. And they've done a great job of controlling the north, but Theraton 5, to their credit, have done an incredible job of fighting, not only against LG, surviving against Cerberus, but now taking the fight with 4 up still.
In a crazy set of circles, they're kind of maintaining their own pace and forcing everybody to play around the game that they want to. And often, if you can accomplish that inside of PUBG, you benefit. You get the merits off of it. And that's what FaZe has been trying to do in the South. Play it slower, play it the way they want, play it clean. But now the circle is starting to force it. Now they're having to make some more aggressive steps in. And the doorway defense is solid. Hello with 1 HP survives.
And pushing up these pryos is always just such a pain. Getting through that stairwell, even just getting through that front door, as we saw, can be a massive hurdle. Jeeb's gonna find that knock though. Maybe he's gonna be able to do something, clean this up and res both of those members, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be possible.
Yeah, at this point, I'm willing to bet he wishes he had that hard hat because he doesn't even have a helmet to function with. A bullet is going to be able to take him down, but hey, guess what? Remember, Na'Vi is still alive and holding down this position. Well, T5 now realizing where they're going to be at comes at a cost of one of the members, but that Trench doing a good job. Yeah, dude, I don't even count it out anymore. Whatever they can make. FaZe does manage to at least get one knockback in this GP fight, so slow and steady wins the race over there as Cerberus has had to shift back and forth around with what T5 is doing.
And this is an awkward circle to play. This is basically a King of the Hill situation with that King of the Hill looking to be Cerberus, and they're still fighting.
They have no ammo. Look at this, running around with the Tommy gun, getting the pop-offs.
Tommy gun up close is still kind of a beast. Don't count it out. Papapong is going to go down. And again, Cerberus holding the north side somehow.
And you know who's still alive? Batulins hiding over there, just waiting to see what's going to go on. FaZe Clan finally going to get taken out. We are now into circle number 9. Everything's going to be shifting into the middle as GP has spot out with Batulins is going to be hiding at. Na'Vi is playing on to the east, GP to the south, Cerberus to the north with a friend in Batulins who's not even capable of moving, let's be honest.
Now, Hush, I think Hush is the only one that actually sees him.
Oh my God, the crossfire coming out from that was pretty nasty pretty quickly. Twisted Minds is going to get eliminated, so that puts us in a 2v1v2 style situation unless some of these reses can come out. But let's be honest, hell is going down. I wouldn't be surprised if Cerberus Tycon tries to make the shift over, leaving Duckmai to try to fend up against Na'Vi.
And Na'Vi knows exactly what's going on now. Is 10 kills on the side of Cerberus. They are starting to move up that hill and potentially trying to crest. They just want to get rid of GP, but Hush is going to find Example. That's going to be a big thorn in Na'Vi's side.
Cerberus just rocking out right now. Those 10 kills are earned. Tycon realized the fact that he doesn't want to commit too much into what's going on with him, Moss. Looking down there, it looks like they might try to go for something with Blue Zone coming out. I think that this is just going to be an exchange of utility, something else along those lines, try to get some smokes out. Got Na'Vi one member up, but let's not forget about Hush.
This is a 1v1v1 right now.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Okay, 1v1.
You can worry. You don't have to worry about Hush anymore. So we've got Cerberus to the north. Na'Vi, who's been having a fight inside the trenches. Duckmai is down, so it's Tycon versus Ayla. Now moving in, but remember, Tycon knows exactly where the line of defenses come out for Na'Vi. Trying to see if he can get a read, using his down teammate in Duckmai.
Nice flash.
Nice vision for it. Steps up, good spin back around though. Trying to use the cleft of the hill, bouncing in between it. Oh, that flash is going to be big. Denies a lot of vision. Utility just being dropped all over Na'Vi. No vision to be at. That's why he stepped back, and that's why he won the game.
What an absolutely disgusting set of plays there coming out from Cerberus. The fact that they were able to hold that north side against 3, 4, 5 different teams, and the superstar kid of Tycon is able to close it out with the assist of at least 7 flashbangs.